Hi, welcome to the Practice Blueprint podcast. I'm joined today with Jason DSouza, and Jason is a digital sales and marketing strategist based in British Columbia. He works with Castanet Kamloops, and he helps local regional business grow through effective advertising, lead generation, and brand positioning. With nearly a decade of experience in sales and business-to-business services, Jason has led sales teams, run a North America-wide marketing strategy, and worked closely with entrepreneurs on growth strategy and execution. Previously, Jason was a business success manager at Avid Action Coach, where he helped business owners move from operating in chaos to running more controlled, profitable operations, focusing on team building, time management, and understanding business finances. He's known for his practical, relationship-based approach to sales, his focus on systems, their produce, and consistent results. So welcome. Thanks for joining. Just tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I've been doing marketing and advertising for the better part of it. You kind of summed it up there. I'm better part of it now. My experience started with kind of the fitness and gym industry. I had an agency for a few years, worked with gyms kind of throughout Canada and the US for a few years. And then I transitioned from there into a business and executive training firm, a business coaching and consulting company. And we used to, when I was there, we worked with business owners to help them scale up their businesses profitably. And we had everything from kind of small mom and pop shops and owner operator trades companies to we had some businesses we were doing executive level coaching and training with that were in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in the revenue points. So wide breadth of experience over the years. And currently I'm working with Castanet Kamloops. They're a local news media company in the interior of BC, and I'm a part of their sales and advertising team.
Cool. Yeah. And we've worked a bit together with both kind of those things. So that's kind of how I know you.
Absolutely.
Developed a friendship from there. I'm going to ask you some questions about all this. Sorry if anything throws you off.
Get into it.
We'll just start asking some questions. What mistakes do you see business owners consistently make when they're trying to grow?
I think the ones that come to my top of mind, like immediately, are probably going to be consistency, communication, like all the kind of base components you want for like a successful general business, whether it be RMTs or otherwise. So different things to the point of consistent communication with their clientele is a big one. I mean, at the very base minimum, just knowing your numbers is huge. Which of your services are most profitable or what their profit margins are in general. Those are kind of the big things that come to mind for me. And just some of the other basic stuff, like having a consistent advertising stream coming in. If you're talking specifically about marketing, it's good to have something always going out to have new, fresh blood coming into your business as well. So that's probably one of the things I see. Just off the top of my mind, a big one is planning rather than reacting. So a lot of owners that I work with now and that I've worked with in the past, especially in their earlier years, while they're getting, that stream of consistent business coming in, those clients that are going to be, the 80-20 that are going to provide a lot of revenue for your business over the next few years. It's planning out what your, ad spend is going to be. It's planning out what you're going to dedicate to marketing and advertising. It's planning out, your fixed expenses like your lease and your shop needs, all those types of things, like planning rather than reacting. I find a lot of business owners get into a place where our business is slowing down or they hit a slower season and then they just start doing things hoping to like something's going to bring in more business rather than having some kind of a plan. And I've found
next, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've found that a lot of the very established business owners that I've worked with, they have those things that they've prepared and tested over time so that when those droughts do happen or when business does slow down, the phone stops ringing as much. They know which levers to kind of pull and push to bring in business when they need it.
Awesome. When you're with Action, say a new business joined, are there any signs where you're like, oh, this person's going to do well or this person's going to need a lot of help? Or
For sure. There were consistent things. Probably the biggest one in that situation was coachability. So there's an element of industry experience that I always respect. If you've been in your field for, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, kind of what the industry is going to look like. If you up your prices from $100 to $500 an hour, nobody's going to use you. They're just going to use somebody else, right? That industry experience is very important. But when it it came to business owners that were successful at Action Coach, it was honestly the coachable ones, the ones that were really consistent with taking feedback and being able to say, okay, I may not agree with that, but this is why. And they would have that communication with us and our team and our coaches so that we could tweak out these systems and figure out the best way to use them. But coachability was huge. Being honest with their numbers was a big component of that. Once they gathered clarity on exactly how much revenue they needed to bring in to produce X amount of profit, or just to cover their base expenses, and they were in profit after that. If they're really honest about their own efforts towards handling that stuff, that was a big component of whether they were going to be successful or not.
Cool. Okay. So switching up to kind of advertising. So what's working right now in advertising for people?
Specifically for RMTs or generally?
Let's go with RMTs.
RMTs, from what I've seen over the last few years and especially recently, I mean, your big ones are Google is huge. Having a good web presence. It doesn't even have to be a strong web presence. I'm not saying RMTs need to post on Facebook and Instagram 20 times a day. Not that that's going to hurt you, but you don't necessarily have to. The way I look at massage therapy as a service is it's very pull oriented. So I learned this from Bentley in our office here. You have your push platforms, which is like Facebook, Meta, Instagram, where you're getting stuff in front of people. And you have your pull platforms where people are looking for something and you want to get your ads in front of them so they kind of buy it from you. A lot of folks, when they're in pain or when they are looking for a massage therapist, or like right now, we're towards the end of the year, folks are looking to use up their benefits. They're going to be searching up things like RMT near me or like registered massage therapist in my area. We want to make sure that you have a presence there on those platforms, specifically Google and these major search engines, because that's where people are looking for those services. So, I mean, a strong Google presence is great. Having a well set up Google business profile. You don't need to pay someone to do it either. Just making sure that, your name is clear. Your website link on your Google My Business profile goes to your website. Simple stuff like that is being very effective. And then just having either a strong SEO presence, meaning that you're ranked organically, or if you want to shortcut that short term, it's Google ads are working really well. Meta does work. Facebook ads do 100% work for RMTs. I've just found personally that Google is often a more straightforward path towards those folks.
Yeah. That's been my experience, that if you have it in a well-established clinic, Meta's usually works really well. But for new clinics, Google's the way to go.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with doing both either. It's just you don't spread yourself too thin across too many platforms, right? If your advertising budget is, $100 to $500 a month, you're better off just kind of dumping that all on, in my opinion, dumping that all on one platform rather than trying to kind of make both work at lower rates.
For sure. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. The places I've seen Meta work well for RMTs is kind of for the more secondary services. So if you have like general massage therapy, but you do like prenatal massage, for example, that something a pregnant woman may not think like, oh, I didn't even realize that this was a thing, or I didn't think I might need that. But you're a little bit more niche. You're getting after a more specific type of audience. You can push that ad out in front of like women only, specifically within a specific age range within your area. That's where I've seen it be more effective if you're trying to promote like specific services.
What about Reddit?
Reddit is, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I haven't seen it scale super well with a lot of the businesses I've worked with. It could just be the areas that I've worked in. And you have to think about this from a platform and community base. If you are living in a region where everybody uses Reddit, by all means, advertise there. We have to make sure that your platform matches where your audience is. So, but for me, at least, I see Reddit as more of a branding and authority driving feature. So, for example, I was speaking with a contractor yesterday, and they have some pretty decent Google rankings for their business because they've been referred a lot on Reddit, inside of Reddit threads for local contracting services. People go on and they're saying like, oh, I worked with this company. They did a really great job. And it's on Reddit, and those are showing up on Google searches. So in my opinion, that's more of a branding and awareness type tool for your company. Whereas a conversion tool to like gain customers and get people through to your website, Google has more of a straightforward approach there because you're getting in front of people when they're looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that Google now searches Reddit a lot.
It does.
having posts on Reddit is good, but maybe advertising on Reddit is a bit more niche.
And I'm a big component of like testing and measuring. If you're spending, $500 a month on Google and it's bringing in X number of clients, say 10 clients, right? Your cost per client is 50. It costs $50 to get a customer through Google. Yeah, Reddit, see what happens. If the numbers work out better for you, great. If they don't, well, at least you've tested it. You've kind of scratched that itch. It works. And you can say, I don't need to do that in the future. Now I can try something else. But yeah, just having that baseline of where your customers are coming from and what it costs is huge in testing out these other platforms.
So an RMT, should they be thinking more about SEO first and then paid ads or web presence? Like how would you strategize a brand new RMT coming into the
Brand
local?
Typically, that's a great question. Brand new, typically you're looking for, you need customers through the door right away. SEO notoriously takes time because either other companies have been around for a while, their domain authority, et cetera, on their website. Maybe they have like more blogs and more pages, et cetera. Their just general presence for Google, is going to be higher. So it's going to be more difficult for a brand new website or a brand new RMT with a new website to rank higher on Google and get towards, like ideally on Google, you want to be on page 1, you want to be within the top 5 organic searches for SEO. That's where majority of the people are clicking. So when you do a pay-per-click ad like Google ads, you are basically just paying to get into that top sponsored spot. And a lot of folks will say, oh, I just scroll past the sponsored ads all the time. Well, it wouldn't exist if it didn't work, right? The reason why sponsored ads on Google exist is because people click on them. So I would start out somebody with pay-per-click first, Google ads, to make sure that they're paying for that traffic to come through their website. They're getting bookings through that. And then have SEO as more of a long-term strategy that you work on, because SEO is going to take months. Typically it takes, a few months to, depending on your industry and competition, sometimes it can take years to rank really well for your area. So I would start with pay-per-click like Google ads. And then once you kind of get some more cash flow going, move into SEO as more of a long-term play. If you can do both at once, it's great, because then you're kind of planting a seed for tomorrow for SEO while you're getting new customers coming in now. If you're choosing to, probably go Google ads first.
When does advertising not make sense?
Great question. When you don't need any more customers is what comes to mind for me. But at the same token, if you're at a stage where the only place for me it really makes sense is if you've been operating for a while, you have such a flurry of clients coming in steadily, and you don't want any more business at all. Like literally zero increase in business is what you want. You want to just stay where you're at and reduce the number of clients you have. Well, it doesn't make sense to advertise at that point in time because you want less. Even for clinics and folks that I've worked with in like the trades industries where they're at capacity for their business, well, then you can switch your ads to like other focuses like recruiting and hiring for scaling. Or you could take that same ad spend and start focusing on kind of tertiary things like sponsoring local events, other things like that, that helps your overall brand name and recognition. But the only time you should stop advertising is if you are trying to stop your business, in my opinion.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. So you're with Castanet. They're a bit different. They're not just like a marketing firm.
Mm-hmm.
Like what kind of stuff do you offer that's a bit unique compared to like if I was to hire a local marketing firm or any marketing team?
Great question as well. We are owned by Lodestar Media out of Vancouver. So Lodestar has been doing advertising for about 30 years. So we have a lot of access to resources and campaigns that have run in the past. Biggest thing for Castanet Kamloops is we're a news media company. So we're news first. We have a local reporting team. We have reporters that are going out and building up local stories of different events and things happening inside of our local community. And we operate throughout the Okanagan. We have Nelson, Osoyoos, Penticton, Kelowna, etc. So one of the big features that I have that I've never had access to for advertising is content and articles. So those can help a lot with branding, sharing your experience, educating the community on your services. A big component of that can also be reviving old clientele that maybe have come to you years ago that you have since forgotten about you, but they see an article about you and then, hey, oh, right, I should probably go get a massage. Right. The PR aspect of it with articles is definitely something unique that I've been learning more about and seeing the efficaciousness of it as I've joined Castanet. That's one of the big things, but for me, at least with Castanet, and part of the reason why I decided to join this company in particular is because of just the experience of our team and the resources through Glacier. We have access to a lot of folks that have been doing advertising on specific platforms for a number of years. We have like Google Ads experts and Meta Ads experts, etc. So when I have a unique product come by or a unique situation, I can throw it off them to say, is this something you feel is viable? Do we have any data from past clients to say this will work, this won't work? And it's a unique approach that I didn't have before. Beforehand, when I was just one platform like Facebook ads, if a business came to me, it was either yes, I can help you, or no, I can't, or we'll try to make it work. These folks will actually tell me like, this is not our recommendation for these reasons. We should try this thing instead. I have a client who has a secondary side of his business, and he actually has a board game, like a physical board game that he invented, and he wanted to promote that. And I was able to throw that off of Lodestar and get a ton of feedback from them to say, hey, we think this platform might be better than this platform. He could advertise on Meta, it might not be the best for these reasons, due to the way he fulfills his products. I think the biggest thing with Cast and some of the unique things is our experience and the fact that we're in the community too. So for a lot of local companies that we work with, like we're in it, we're around it, we can connect clients locally and help them. And we have like so many years of experience behind us that we do our best to not play with our clients' meet. We approach an advertising campaign. It is with the intention and the idea that this is the right platform for you. This is the right way to set up the app. This is going to work this way. For example, I've had plenty of times where I've sat down with folks and they want to do Google ads within a specific industry for a really low ad spend. And I literally told them, I do not feel confident in doing it at that low of ad spend because you're not going to see the results that you need off of it. We need to your ad spend up to this amount, because just based off the cost per click for your industry and the number of people looking around and the number of competitors in your industry, it doesn't make sense to do it for this amount.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of really all around Kamloops with business stuff. You've got a lot of networks. And what kind of local advertising or local business promotion stuff do people often miss out on?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to speak like in broad terms, not just for Kamloops specifically. Probably one of the biggest ones for a local company, believe it or not, and this applies to all companies, but specifically for local, is just using that base of clients that you have. Right. So capturing your audience through email lists and phone number lists for text campaigns, et cetera. I'm sure if there are RMTs listening right now that have been, operating for a number of years, you probably have a big chunk of cash flow that's sitting in those old clients that you haven't reached out to. Right. So being able to consistently have an email campaign going out twice a month, or even more than that if you can, or having consistent text reminders going out saying, hey, we haven't seen you in a while, book in for your next massage. That applies for a lot of local service providers. And there's usually a ton of cash flow sitting there in your past clientele. In terms of like just hyper local things business owners can do, get involved with your community, start collaborating with local businesses that are non-competitive to you. For a massage therapist, for example, it might be a local nutritionist or a local gym, right? Do a post on Facebook together, just talking about each other's services, or run a giveaway of some kind, collaborating the two of your businesses, because if it's an RMT in a gym, they're non-competitive, right? But typically will have the same type of audience, right? People that are moving in pain, whatever, wanting to get out of pain, wanting to lose weight. You can do a promotion together and use each other's audience collaboratively. And assuming both of you are providing good service, you're just helping your audience even more. Those are some opportunities that are lying down for local businesses that I think are often sitting there that people don't take advantage of enough.
Excellent advice. Really good advice there. I agree 100%. That's all that stuff's really helped me grow with each time I've had to grow a new practice in a different town or different clinic.
100%.
If you were advertising with a new RMT in their first year, what would you tell them to focus on?
Advertising with a new RMT in their first year. First thing that comes to mind is build systems early. So make sure you have a good booking system. Like people can click through and easily like book an appointment with you. If they're going through a maze of 8 different pages on your website to try and figure out how to book a massage with you, they're going somewhere else. That's number one. So have good booking systems, good follow-up, and good communication. So these are like most of the booking softwares that are available right now. They have like automated text reminders and different things like that to make sure people are showing up to appointments. Use all of those and don't wait until like a big thing is don't wait until the well is empty to start advertising. When things are moving, things are growing, if you have like startup funding, for example, where you're taking out a loan to get your business started, like advocate an amount of those dollars to doing some advertising over a few months or a year. Don't try and just get a bunch of business and then stop all your advertising and get a bunch of business and stop all your advertising. Figure out some level of consistency to the point where hey, if I spend $500 a month on meta ads, I will typically bring in 8 new customers or 5 new, whatever it is. Understand those numbers. So if you're like, I would really like 16 new customers next month, it's like, well, I need $1,000, right? Those are the big components that I think new RMTs should focus on. I mean, use all the free stuff too. Like make sure you're posting on Facebook. Make sure you have a decent looking professional Facebook page. Your cover photo does not have to be a blurry mess of your business name. It can look nice. It doesn't mean you got to pay like some graphic design logo person, $1,000 to build you a logo package, but take some time to make sure that you have quality posts. You introduce yourself to your audience and to your community in terms of your social media and stuff like that. You have a well set up Google My Business profile where people can leave you reviews. Start collecting reviews early. Ask people to leave you reviews. Ask your customers. Those would be some of the first things. And then secondary things would definitely be like get creative with your advertising too. So like we were talking about, connect with some local businesses and do some collaborative posts or some collaborative campaigns together. One of the big ones that I see all the time is business owners always want to do like, 10% off this now, book now, 15% off, book now. People just scroll past those ads now because everyone can do them. Why don't you get creative? If your average service for an RMT is say $100 an hour, or $80 an hour, and you're offering 20% off, that's about $16. Why don't you just go buy a thing of essential oils and say with every massage, get a free essential oils, whatever. Or talk to a local essential oils company or a local company that provides something related to your niche and see if they would give you some product to promote them free with your massages, right? Get creative and this is a wonderful part about like AI and Chat GPT now. Just go through some of the promotions you're planning on doing for your business inside of these AIs and ask them, what are some creative approaches I can use for advertising my firm that will get me more results than 10% off, book now. The other thing that's huge with RMTs, now that you mentioned it, is if you direct bill insurance, that should be a part of your advertising and your promotions. If you can direct bill insurance for folks, because most of them are booking through their health insurance, make sure that your audience you're advertising to is aware of that. It does increase conversion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's huge, especially in our town with a lot of blue collar workers who have great insurance product, but they don't often have the spending money in their pocket.
Absolutely.
Compared to Vancouver, where it might be like they're trying to get the credit card points, so they'd rather pay out of pocket. Yeah, that's really good advice, Jason. Yeah, if you're going to give a discount and said, take that discount and put it into product to upscale. Yeah, I really like that.
Another big thing for first year RMTs is just be willing to try different things. If you have typically when you're starting out, you have a lower budget available to you for ad spend. If you're trying a platform, say it's Reddit advertising for a month, be open to trying Google for a month or trying, Meta for a month just to see how it works. And honestly, typically these platforms take a few months to like test and measure things and figure them out. So I would put your advertising efforts by the quarter, right? So over 3 months, you want to, put, say it's $900 or $1,000 towards your advertising. What's the best way you can do that to bring in, as many clients as possible right away? I mean, honestly, communication is just the biggest thing. There's usually so much money sitting inside of clientele lists and referrals, et cetera. Like make sure you're communicating a lot. Yeah,
it's free advertising. Use it. If you bumped into me on the street tomorrow and I'm with a brand new RMT and I'm like, hey, this is a new friend of mine. They need advice for this week. What's one thing they could do this week?
Brand new? I mean, assuming no money or low ad spend, I would say get in touch with local service providers that are non-competitive. So get in touch with local gyms, local physios, doctors' offices, and just let them know that you exist and that you're new and that you're, assuming that you've like apprenticed underneath another experienced RMT or you're working out of an experience shop to say, use their experience to edify yourself, saying this experience, or I specialize in this type of customer. Like you, for example, you have a big soccer background, right? Go around to the soccer facilities in your city and just say, hey guys, like I'm a big passion for soccer. I play soccer myself. I'm an RMT locally. Hand out some business cards. Let people know that you exist. That's the biggest problem for most small business owners is not enough people know that they exist. And you're not going to exhaust your audience. If you are advertising to the point where like this guy is everywhere, it's so irritating, you're probably not getting no appointments. You're getting some element of appointments. So I would say that first, if you don't have any money to put towards advertising, is get yourself out as much as possible. Ad dollars are a point of leverage. So we use advertising dollars because we have dollars available and those dollars are less valuable than our time, right? If you have no money, it means typically you have a lot of time. Use that time yourself to get out in front of people. If you have dollars to do advertising, I would absolutely say, get started on some Google pay-per-click ads. Make sure they're well, right? Even if you have to pay somebody to set up your ads well, it's worth it because a lot of these platforms have different things like retargeting and, niching down to your own area. I see so many meta ads from companies like makeup artists and other things in Ontario that are advertising in BC because they just don't have their ad set up properly. And they're literally wasting money on ad spend by doing that. So make sure it's set up properly. Huge.
Fantastic advice. And building relationships is so important in your community for sure. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple personal questions. Can you recommend a book that you think everyone should read?
General?
No, just in like this field, kind of business or getting better at business.
Well, the two I'll give you two that I've absolutely loved recently, which is $100 million Offers by Alex Ramosi and $100 million Leads. There have been a ton of really great books and content out towards advertising and sales, etc. Those two books of his absolutely boil it down to the simplest and most easy to understand information related to putting together a good offer for your business and where to find leads. So those two together, they have completely free resources within them that anybody can really use. And they give you such a strong base for understanding effective advertising. So $100 million Offers, $100 million Leads by Alex Ramosi. If you need to work on your people skills, it would absolutely be How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's a classic that's been around for years. I read that book at least once a year, every year, just because every time I read it, it gives me more insights on working with people.
Yeah, those are great books for sure. I don't think I've actually read How to Win Friends and Influence People because I got enough friends. I don't need any more.
Fair enough. Me too. The one about that book in particular is he gives some really core components, like understanding somebody's name. Like someone's name is the most important word to them, right? It's the only word where if you're in a crowd full of people and somebody yells that one word, it immediately grabs your attention, right? So he gives ideas behind why and how to remember people's names. I mean, just simple stuff like you attract more flies with honey than vinegar, right? If you're not a negative person, you will typically have more success with people than being a positive person will get you better results than being a negative person. It's simple stuff like that, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, cool. Is there anything that you've bought in the last 5 years under $1,000 that's really changed your life?
Anything I bought for under $1,000 has really changed my life. I'd have to say, well, books come to mind first and foremost. I'm trying to think of stuff that I use on a daily basis or stuff that I use consistently.
Or just changed direction for you?
Yeah, definitely. Stuff that I bought for under $1,000. I don't buy that much stuff over $1,000 regularly. Freaking great question. I'd probably say journals. Journals are a big. So I started this years ago when I've only consistently been doing it is I have a journal that I use to track just life in general. So like 3 main objectives for the month. Sometimes I track my sleep, general habits that I'm working on. That's probably been a huge component of just realizing where my consistency lies with my habits and just recording things too. Like one thing I started doing this year was I have daily, what I call memorable moments, which is like good or bad things that are just memorable from that particular day or remembering different like experiences with clients, all those types of things. So like, yeah, just a, $13 journal. I use the soft cover because it's easier to pack around in bags and stuff. Those have been a big help over the last few months and years. That's been a big one.
Cool. Do you have any go-to meals you like any favorite meal?
Tilapia and rice.
Yeah.
Yep. Tilapia and is a huge one. That one and taco bowls.
Yeah.
Yep. I can get 50 grams of protein in for like less than 700 calories. I'll eat that all day long.
Cool. And last question. Do you have a passion that's completely outside of work?
No, I'm kidding. I would say probably either lifting, like weight training and running, or archery. Those are my two main things outside of work. I love advertising. So like even on a Saturday evening, if I'm bored, like I'll go look through my vault of ads. So whenever I see ads for particular industries that I like, I have a Google Drive where I'll actually screenshot them and put them in there. I'll go through my vault and like see what different companies are doing to advertise in different areas, or look at, established like auto tinting companies in the United States or travel companies and how they're setting up their campaigns. Like that to me is really fun. So that's what I'll do with my spare time. But in other spare time, yeah, it's typically I just got my bow retuned. So I'll typically be shooting my bow or I'll be lifting and running. That's pretty much.
Yeah. I think it's really important people have passions outside of work.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really helps.
It's a way to connect with your clients as well.
Yeah. Helps prevent burnout too, I think.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool. Well, some amazing advice there, Jason. Like, yeah, some really valuable advice for a lot of people. Really want to thank you for sharing your time with us. And
Thanks for having me.
hopefully I'll get you on again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thanks, Jason.